Um, Thank you very much. So this is the second presentation. Is about digital banking regulation in Indonesia. As you can see, the title seems a bit provocative. 10 reasons on why digital banking in Indonesia will fail. So if you see this presentation, I hope you watch this with open mind, because maybe the first presenter mentioned the more optimist side of digital banking, while I'm trying to see the digital banking from different point of view that mention some skepticism, especially on the aspect of the regulation. Okay, so the first is why I'm skeptic with the digital banking is knowing the definition, knowing the type of business of the bank. So if you see the definition, bank is institution that performs saving and lending. This is interest-based activity, and the second activity is that for the financial intermediary. So in Indonesia, we usually say this is like interest-based activity and non-interest income activity. In Indonesia, generally saving and lending is under supervision of OJK, while the financial intermediary or payment is under the supervision of Bank Indonesia. So this separation is actually complicated. Originally, Indonesia follow UK Financial Service Authority model that separate BI and the supervision or the OJK, but in reality it's more complicated than that, because for example the BPK or State Audit Board can also perform its monitoring on the financial activity. To sum up, bank is highly regulated industry, but in Indonesia, as you know, regulation is very complicated. Um, so with this complicated, I'm pretty sure that there are more problems that might arise from this industry. The second one is, if you see the nature of banking, banking is basically like infrastructure business, similar with like utilities or logistic. The entry banking for digital banking especially is very high. For example, if you see the more traditional digital banking is, if you see electronic data capture or EDC, or some people say the merchant business. At this moment, that 90% of the EDCs belong to 5 banks only. BCA, which has more than 500,000 EDC. BCA, the market leader, followed by Mandiri, Niaga, BNI, and BRI. For comparison, BCA has more than 500,000 EDC, while BTN only has like 100 EDC, and even from about 100, more than 100 banks, not many banks that has more than 100 EDC. In comparison, the attempt that Gojek trying to make at this moment is they only able to reach 100,000 merchant, 400,000 merchant, and OVO at 100,000 merchant. From and another electronic channel, ATMs, you can see the 75% of ATM belong only 5 banks only: BRI, BNI, BCA, and Niaga. For comparison again, while BRI has more than 200,000, well, Pan Indonesia is only less than 100 ATM. They cannot compete. They cannot compete with the bank. The cost to maintain ATM for them is too big, and for them the ATM and EDC, the traditional digital banking business, is not as interesting as the interest-based business. So, as this infrastructure business, the oligopoly is inevitable. It's only 5 or 6 big market, not only in Indonesia but in our country. But this is more complicated with the digital banking. I mean, it's complicated maybe a lot of time. The third reason is, as we know, that banking in Indonesia is known for its inefficiency. People say that digital will make it efficient, but well, I'm not really support this idea. For example, for a financial perspective, the net interest margin in Indonesia is highest in the region, about 4.8, and average ASEAN is only 2 to 3%. So, for example, this represents the inefficient financial intermediation process. We get the fund at the expensive, and we disburse the payment, the loan at also the very expensive price, so the margin is big. And the second is from the operational perspective, payment cost is also highest in the region. So you can see compared to the rentas, compared to the speed, compared to the Bookwire, Indonesia got the highest transaction fee. But with inefficiency, banks basically enjoy profit. So whether we want to have efficient market or not is very complicated, because maybe the bank thinks differently. As you maybe remember that the transfer between BCA to Mandiri, we cannot do it in the past. It takes Bank Indonesia to make a regulation so the Mandiri and BCA can we can transfer between those banks. The first one is the fourth reason is not all banking interested in going digital. So, for example, in Indonesia, 75 bank revenue is from interest business, while 25% from the non-interest income. So, like ATM, EDC, internet banking, standard register, SWIFT. So, for big bank, the contribution for non-interest business might reach more than 25%, such as BCA. But for smaller bank, just like I mentioned before, maybe they are for them the digital banking is not as a lucrative business. Bank at this time need to have a good position whether they want to going digital, meaning they can get closer to the customer, or they stay in the traditional business. But the fact is, from the revenue distribution, the non-interest income for another bank is not as big as the big. The fifth reason why it might be failed is, of course, the customer behavior. The customer in Indonesia is demanding. If you see compared to the European bank, for example, in my experience, if you go to ATM in Indonesia, you can pay, you can make bill payment for electricity, water, university tuition fee, and a lot of things. Compared to the European, which more traditional in terms of the ATM transaction banking. But there are these things, the behavior of the customer will affect how the digital banking will grow its business. For example, Indonesian customer behavior known for we looking for discount, we are looking for the brand, we like to gossip and talk of the chat. This behavior never changed since the long time ago, since the Groupon discount deal, up to the era of Instagram, WhatsApp, and more practical business transaction. So, and also, for example, compared to the European counterpart, European prefer cash instead of digital non-cash for the reason of privacy. So maybe some country in Switzerland, for example, they prefer cash. They think that is more give you privacy instead of using digital. So it's very unique. But in my skepticism point of view, this doesn't mean good things. Okay, the sixth reason is the cost to build a bank is very cheap. But why not many banks interested? I give you two examples, the two latest example. In the last year, Bank Artos bought by Jerry Ang. Jerry Ang is the founder of Genius BTPN for 300 billion rupiah. So it's not too expensive to buy a bank. Rabobank also bought by BCA for only the latest price is 900 billion rupiah. The cost to build the Genius for the core banking and digital infrastructure estimated only at 200 or up to 300 billion rupiah. But even with the vision of BTP and SMBC, the parents of the BTP and from Japan thinks differently. They don't at this moment they don't consider to expanding the BTPN Genius at this moment. Core banking itself is only cost 10 to 50 million million. So there's some opinion that might be big bank is not interested in digital bank, although they have money. So the takeaway is smaller bank need to consider to spend the money. If big bank not interested, it might be something fishy in this digital business. Okay. The seventh reason is, this is a classic, quis custodia ipsos custodies. Who was the watchman? In Indonesia, this is more problematic. Regulator also can be operator. For example, Pertamina is in the past is regulator or also operator, but now there is a tendency to become regulator again and mix. For example, also in the near future, BI will have BI Fast that will compete against Visa and Mastercard. So this is also concern from the business for an industry player whether the regulator will be the player or not. So nobody can beat the regulator, right? The eighth reason is big player significant moves affecting the market. Is it a zero-sum game? So the payment landscape is unsurprisingly now is very heterogeneous. If you see in general, there are two types of digital banks. The first one is Reliance with device, Apple Pay, Samsung Pay. The second one is Reliance with OS, operating system like Google Pay. To some degree is Tencent. And then the reliance of marketplace. This is like the biggest part, like Amazon Pay, GoPay, Starbucks Pay, OVO, including Dana is in this category. This is the classic battle, just like the battle between what do you call Walmart and Visa in the past. So battle between the banking and the marketplace. And the fourth classic reliance is the banking industry. So banking never sleep against this. Visa, for example, they will have EMV CRC and Indonesian Bank. The Indonesian Bank cartel will have Aja. The number nine, the reason number 9 is more regulation is actually can be more complicated future. For example, this is blueprint sistem pembayaran Indonesia 2025. As you know, that last November it mentioned about open banking as the future of business model. But what does it mean? This is not the technological changes like most of the people mention about the ISO data standardization, ISO 222, but also more on business model, or we can say like banking liberalization. For example, data is a significant asset. With this blueprint, the BI expecting that the data is shared with other fintech industry, but from the bank point of view, is this good? Will a bank share of it? That's more complicated than that. The last reason, don't forget about the data security, but my view is data security is not from the hacking things and stolen your data. This is actually will be presented in the next presentation, but more about there are very complicated the regulation. There are more than 30 regulation in Indonesia about the data security. So there will be more issue with data integration. There will be more issue with cloud computing regulation. So this will be interested for us as consultant, but as a business player, maybe they will need to think twice whether they want to go to the digital business or they just play safe, choose the most lucrative business in Indonesia. That's all from my side. I have one quiz, two quiz, but that's all. Thank you very much.